One of the most important attributes to being a mobile DJ is just that, being mobile. And in my opinion, the way to be mobile is to have a small footprint without sacrificing power. Today we're looking at the JBL Eon One compact 4-channel mixer with effects, a 12-hour battery, and Bluetooth streaming. I'm gonna take it out on 2 gigs, 1 wedding, 1 residency. Let's see how it holds up. Let's get into this. Hey, what's up? Shayshahn fan, I'm MacPherson here, and I'm back with another Gear and Gadgets. Today I'm talking about the JBL Eon One compact PA system that's also rechargeable. It comes in at $575, and I rented it to use at 2 gigs this weekend. Let's get right into the gigs on location. So my first test for the Eon One is a small, quaint wedding on Randall's Island. And it's the perfect chance for me to see if I could just bring minimal amounts of gear. I have a small deck, I have the JBL, I have my violin, and a couple of wires and connections, and that's it. And what's really great about this setup is that I used an Anchor battery as a backup, but the speaker itself could power the laptop if I wanted to. It would drain the battery, but it was a perfect solution because I had no way of getting power from anywhere else. So for musicians who busk, DJs who are out, in a small event, or you don't want to make that much noise, as you can see, this was my first sound test. And it fills up the small area where the couple wanted their guests to be, and for them to have a Native American ceremony. Another thing that was very important was not to get too loud, but to have it, the guests feel it, but not anybody outside of that perimeter. Now, it probably bled over into other people, but we were in a public park, and when people see you setting up a speaker, they think, you need a permit or something like that. But I kept it at a good level where people could, feel it and move a little bit, dance a little bit, but, this 8-inch speaker, it's about 112 decibels, and it kind of did its thing, especially for being outside and doing double duty as playing as my amp on the violin. The reason why I'm able to use the JBL with my violin is because it has a 4-channel digital mixer that's loaded with like DBX and Lexicon inspired effects. It has 4-band EQ, reverb, chorus, and delay, and quick recall settings. I really need good reverb for my violin, as you can see. And as you can hear, the violin really jumps out, and I think that's because of the 2 XLR TRS combo jacks that they have. The Eon has a lot of good I/O, actually. It has a 1/4 inch in, it has a high Z guitar input, and a 1/8 inch in. The clients ended up being happy, and I moved on to the next gig. So after that first beautiful wedding, my second gig was at my residency that I usually do on Sundays. And I spin winning violin at this place called SOCO. And they allowed me to use 2 different setups. They already have a speaker there. So I tried the speaker by itself, the Eon by itself, and then I tried it along with a K12. So now I want to show you a sound test using Bluetooth and my iPad, which you can also DJ with.
Love so good, girl, I had to break it down. Thinking about that ass as I assassinate the town. First things first, don't lose the vibe now. Be ahead of the class, don't get average. Wow, what you mean they up to no good how?
So yeah, that's a test of the sound straight into the shotgun mic of the camera. The next thing I want to test is some EQ settings. This is at 0. I turn the EQ all the way up to max. To 100%. So this next test is turning the bass all the way up. And now I'm turning the reverb from dry to wet. The next clip is self-explanatory. So this is an example of what it would sound like using Bluetooth with an iOS device, the speaker with the settings of 2 up on treble and 3 up on bass, and the music at 75%.
So good, girl, I had to break it down. Thinking about that ass as I assassinate the town. First things first, don't lose the vibe now. We ahead of the class, don't get average wow. But you really have to know it how. You wanna take the word of a bird, put that down. Got love stronger than the words and the frowns. We a king and the queen, and you know they want the crown.
So if you want to pause the video at any point, I listed out all the features of the JBL on a one pager, and then I want to go into the pros and cons. I also want to give my use cases and who this unit is best suited for, who would get the best out of this Eon. The pros of this system is that it's lightweight, set at 17 pounds. It's lighter than any other speaker that I use. I usually use QSCs. Another pro is that it's powerful for its weight and size. I mean, I literally left both gigs and just was carrying it with so much ease. I'm used to feeling like I'm lugging around a little bit more weight. I love that it has lots of I/O and different ways for you to plug in instruments and, whatever your player is, your laptop. I love that about this. I like the fact that it had reverb, and pretty good reverb. I like the long-lasting battery at 12 hours. I like that it can charge other devices. And I really like that it had Bluetooth, so you don't even have to use a wire. And what I really like to do is mix the Bluetooth from a stereo source of whatever backing tracks I'm using and plug in the violin directly so there's not any lag at all. So yeah, those are the pros. Let's get into some of these cons. One con that I have to say is it had this real cool way when you turned up the dial, you would see the light go up, and that would let you know where you are, 1 o'clock, or whether from 1 to 10. But sometimes I felt like it wasn't accurate. I felt like I put it at the same place and it was a little different each time. And sometimes the little green light bar that moved up when you turn the dial might not have been as accurate. Another con is I felt like sometimes I couldn't tell if the reverb was on or not. I don't know if I was hitting a button wrong. I did only have the unit for 2 days. But I felt like sometimes I had to jiggle the knob to make sure that the reverb was on. I know that seems weird, but that was happening to me a lot. I wish it was as loud as a QSC 8-inch, That's another con, but that's me nitpicking. I mean, QSC is top of the line and it's very loud, and you have to plug a QSC in. This JBL is all self-powered, standalone unit. But yeah, those would be my cons. Who is this JBL Eon One compact system good for? I think it's great for any type of street performers that have no access to power. I think it's great for presentations. I think it's great for aerobic teachers or dance teachers. I think it's great if you want to speak to a small group of people or kids and you're teaching them and you need amplification. I think it's good for mobile DJs like myself. And, you know, it would really be great if you can times it by 2. If you get 2 of those and link them up, they do work together in stereo. If you do that, I think the system is good enough for small gigs, you know, 20 people or under, maybe even more than that, because I used it outside with about 30 people. It's just not gonna thump, you know, it's not gonna thump like you having a subwoofer, like my QSC subwoofer or my, you know, K.2s. It's not gonna be that, but it's gonna be great, you know, for small situations when you need to get in and get out and give people some music that's pretty quality. You know, the Violin definitely jumped out over the mix and you have full control over that. I appreciate you coming by the channel. Let me know if you've ever used the JBL Eon One compact system. Let me know what your experience was with it. Please subscribe and like if you'd like this kind of content, and I'm gonna keep bringing it to you. I'm gonna bring you gear, gadgets, clothing, all type of things that pertain to me as a performer here in New York City and abroad. Stay safe. Peace.